Yeah. So first off, I want to thank all the subscribers. Appreciate you guys for fucking with me. And it's Throwback Thursday, aka Train Track Thursday. So I'm gonna tell a little YA war story. It doesn't have much of a point to it. Not a lot of lessons learned. Well, actually there were a few now I think about it. Yeah, actually, let's get into it. So I'm in Nelles, right? And there's this one guy who did something that really, it wasn't even that big of a deal. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember it wasn't a big of a deal because I don't remember it. But I just remember he kind of pissed me off. He was in another cottage. So I shot at him. And as soon as I shot at him, everybody was like, damn, fool. That fool got hands. Fool, you fucked up. Like, that fool's fucking with it and all kinds of shit. Like, I don't give a fuck, you know what I mean? Like we gonna see each other. Like, I ain't tripping. So I'm walking to chow one day where we're in line, and he was in one of the cottages that we had to pass by to get the chow. And he just pops his head out of the window like, hey, Cricket, you shot at me? And I was like, yeah, Simon. And he's like, just starts talking shit. And he said something like really disrespectful. He didn't shoot at me, but he said something really disrespectful. So I'm like, all right, it's on. Like, for real, like we'll get him up. Like, because before I shot at him, so it was on him to rush me. So I wasn't really tripping. I was like, whatever, dog. And but he said something that just, didn't sit right with me. So I was like, man, fuck this. He basically called me a bitch and all kinds of shit. And I was just like, man, fuck that shit. I'm gonna rush this fool. So it's on, right? Like, I'm fucking pissed. I'm like, man. And so we hit the school area. And I end up on the line by the metal detectors, waiting to go back to my cottage. And I end up seeing that fool's rampla. His rampla hits me up, and this fool, a lot of fools said he had hands too, like a motherfucker. And he's like, what's up, fool? You shot at my rampla? I was like, yeah, what's up, homie? And he's like, check this out. We ain't gonna get down right now. I'm gonna work this shit out. What's gonna happen is you're gonna get, we all have class next to each other. I didn't even know that shit. It was kind of trippy. He's like, we all have class next to each other. And when we come out, you get down with him. I get down with your rampla, which is Diablo from Venice. And then the next day, we'll do it again. He gets down with Diablo from Venice, and I get down with you. And I was like, yeah, fuck it. Let's do this shit. Let's run it. But I even told him, like, dog, we could do this right now. And he's like, nah, don't even trip, fool. Like, because there wasn't really animosity towards me and him. This is between me and his rampla. And he's like, don't even trip, fool. I'm going to talk to him. We gonna do this shit. I was like, cool. So I tell my rampla, hey, fool, these fools want to run a rampla shot. And he's like, fuck it, let's do it. And it's crazy because I'm like, these fools both, everybody said how they had hands, and they didn't have major size, but they were a lot bigger than us. Like, I was maybe about 5'6", 120 pounds. Diablo about the same thing. Like, we were small motherfuckers, but we were like, let's run this shit. Like, fuck it. A lot of people probably see me now thinking that I was like, always has like a little size on me, but like, nah, fuck no. I was a small, skinny motherfucker. And I just said, fuck it, let's run it, right? So one of my homeboys writes to me. He writes me a kite, like, hey, check this shit out, fool. You gonna get down with this fool? Like, not the fool I shot at, but his rampla, right? Like, you gonna get down with this fool? Like, I'm in the cottage with him. Let me know it's cracking, fool. I'll catch a fade with this fool. So I'm like, oh, hell no, nah, fuck that, right? So I ended up seeing my homeboy, the homeboy that struck me up a kite. I ended up seeing him in the school area. And I told him, hey, check this shit out, fool. This is between us four. It's between me, my rampla, and them two, right? Like, let's leave it at that, fool. There's no need for the homies to get involved. Like I don't want any homies involved in this shit. This is just between us. But he had a good point. He was like, come on, dog. You're my homeboy, fool. You're from the barrio, fool. Like we're basically our ramplas. You know what I mean? Like we are. Like, if somebody's tripping on you, like, he's like, look, you getting down with the first cat that you shot at, I'll stay out of that. He's like, because that's something you did, right? That's your pedo. Like you caused that shit, and all of us are cool with him. Like everybody. That's where I fucked up, because everybody was cool with him, right? And he's like, but fuck it. You want to catch a fade with that fool? Handle that shit, right? He's like, but his rampla, I'm cool with that fool too. And he's like, so how the fuck am I gonna let him run up on my homeboy, like bust rampla shots on my homeboy? He's like, it's not even his pedo. So if he wants to get in this shit and it's not his pedo, I'm gonna get in this shit. And all the homies got your back, fool. Like all the homies already willing to roll. And I was like, damn, man, like I don't want that, you know what I mean? Cause this is just like, honestly, this is just between two cats at first. Two people. Like it should have just been handled us two. So I was just like, damn, like I wasn't really feeling that shit, but I understood where he's coming from, and I can't, how am I gonna force him not to get down with them, right? So what ends up happening is they get back to the cottage and they end up talking it out. And the fool I shot at, his rampla, shoots me a kite. And it's like, check this shit out, fool. We're squashing that shit. Like, this is between you and him. As long as Diablo doesn't get involved, I'm gonna stay out of it. So I just talked to Diablo like, hey, check this shit out, fool. Do me a bottle, fool. I don't want to get my homies involved in this shit. Like, this isn't their pedo, this is my pedo. Like, I'm gonna get down with this fool one-on-one. And Diablo at first was like that fool was active. He's like, fool, like we're supposed to get each other's runbacks. And I'm like, yeah, I get it, fool, but like, I don't want this shit to escalate into something else where my homies, because I had homies that were going home, you know what I mean? And I didn't want them catching time for some bullshit in the school area. So he's like, all right, fuck it, fool. We'll leave it alone. I was like, cool, we'll leave it alone. So that's my opportunity, right? I'm like, yeah, it's time to rock and roll. I'm gonna go heads up with this fool. So I find out what classroom he has, right? Because his rampla was, I don't think he misinterpreted something, because we might have had class in the same area, but at different times, because I'd never seen that fool right there. Like, never. And I was looking for him, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna have to find out what classes he has. So I hit up a few of the boys in the cottage, and I was like, hey, anybody know what class he has? Like, first period. And they're like, yeah, fool. And they told me, and they're like, damn, fool, you gonna bust a Superman on that fool? I'm like, hell yeah. So Superman is basically like, I'm going out of my way to get him. You know what I mean? So I'm not supposed to be, I'm out of bounds basically. I'm not supposed to be in the area where he's at. So fucking, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna bust Superman. So they're trying to, like, they're all like, oh shit. They're like, damn, fool, like, that fool has hands, fool. That fool has hands, damn, fool. You're like, fuck, fool, you better watch out, because that fool fucking hits hard. That fool has hands. He be dropping fools and like pumping this shit up, like making it seem like he's this big old scary ass fucking monster and shit, right? And I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm gonna get down with this fool. So fucking what? Give a fuck who? Like, so what? Like, honestly, I was no fucking Rambo in YA. Like, my fucking resume, my record was probably like 50-50. Half the fights I won, half the fights I lost. Like I said, I was about 120 pounds, 5'6". I was a small motherfucker, you know what I mean? So I don't give a fuck. It's not like I never took an ass whooping, you know what I mean? Like, whatever, it is what it is. So at first I kind of let it get in my head a little bit, like, oh shit, how am I gonna fight? Am I gonna do it this way? Am I gonna do it that way? And then I just calmed myself down, like, look, fool. Started saying to myself, like, look, fool, fuck what they say. Do what you do. Don't worry about all that noise. Like, they don't got to get down with him. You got to get down with him. So I said, fuck it. Let's roll, right? So it's crazy because I go into his class, and one of my homeboys, not the one that I wrote the kite to, one of my other homeboys is in the class. He's like, what's up, fool? What are you doing here? I'm like, oh, I'm busting a Superman. I'm about to get down with homie right here. And then that fool's like, oh, fuck. Like, fucking, he's just like, all right. Because I guess he had something going on where he wasn't trying to, like, fucking, I don't know. He really didn't want to get down in the school area at that time. But it was like, it's too late now, because he could have tried to set it up for another time or whatever, but it was too late. He said some disrespectful shit. Not only that, but I busted a Superman, so I'm out of bounds. I'm not supposed to fucking, I'm not supposed to be there. You know what I mean? So it's like, we're going to catch a fade for. I don't know what you're going through. Like, fucking, but we're going to catch a fade. You know what I mean? So, my homeboy's like, damn, fool, all right, fucking wait to the bell to ring. Wait for the bell to ring. I was like, all right, cool. So the bell ring and movement's over. The reason why we had to wait for movement to be over, because if we were to get down during school movement, if we were to get down during that time, what would happen is fucking, you could have a classroom coming with like 2 or 3 staff, right? And they could come in and break that shit up right away. not a classroom. You could have a cottage coming with like 2 or 3 staff. They could break that shit up right away. So we can get a better heads up. We had to wait till school movement was over so just security could come in, right? So fucking the bell rings. We're chilling for like 2 minutes. The teacher asked, like, hey, who are you? And I just jump up, boom, square up with this fool, right? That's like, cause I'm already like, fuck, it's on now, like that's it. It's like they're already asking who I'm at. They know I'm not supposed to be there, so I jump up, throw my hands up, and this fool gets ready, right? So for me, the way I used to fight is just basically 1-2s, right? So it's like, boom, straight, like, whah, go back, other fist, whah, right? Like just boom, boom, right? So that's the way, and I would just go straight, like just talking straight. So I'm going straight, and this fool, I don't know if he thought like he was gonna psych me out, but he tried to do head movement. So he bends down a little bit, goes under, right? Does this, and when he drops, when he throws punches, he's throwing them out like this, boom, kind of throwing haymakers, right? So, but when he's going down, he comes up, and when he comes up, I just hit that fool like 4 or 5, bink, 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 bink. Right, and I'm catching him, and he's like, oh shit, I don't think he's like, that kind of caught him off guard, because he thought like I was gonna wait for him or something, and fucking like I was gonna look where he's going. I don't give a fuck, I'm just swinging, you know what I mean? We only have probably a minute and a half tops, like that's the most, you know what I mean? It's probably gonna be about 30 seconds, right? So we gotta hurry up and get that work. So I'm hitting him, pink, 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 and then that's when he fucking starts connecting on me, boom, boom, and the motherfuckers hurt like fucking like a motherfucker, right? But I'm just like, fuck it, let's go, boom, 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 boom. So we're just going at it, quack, 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 quack. And I'm catching him with way more than he's catching me, right? But he's hitting me way fucking harder than I'm hitting him. So we're just going at it, boom, 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 boom. And finally the staff come, break that shit up, and I go back to the cottage. And everybody's tripping out, like they're waiting to see me all busted up, like looking like the Elephant Man and shit, you know. And they're like, I come back with nothing, and they're tripping out, like, damn fool, you got down with that fool? I was like, yeah. They're like, I thought that fool was gonna bust you up, fool. I was like, come on, dog, don't sleep on Cricket Nasty, you know what I mean? Like, I'm all arrogant now, you know what I mean? But fucking up. The truth is, like I said, we only had 30 seconds to fight, and my style just went well with what he was doing. You know what I mean? Like it clashed well. But other than that, like, homie hit hard as fuck. And yeah, he did do some damage, you know what I mean? Like, to other cats, because it's just the way styles make fights. You know what I mean? And like I said at the beginning, were there any things that I learned from this? Yeah, there were a few things I learned. Like, a major one was that my actions impact other people. I always have to remember that. Even to this day, I have to remember that my actions impact other people, because like my homeboys, I could have got them all involved in this shit, which is not, like I said, I didn't want that shit, right? I don't want to get my homeboys involved in this, but they ain't gonna let their homeboy get ran up on ramfla shot, you know what I mean? So I kind of learned, like, after that, like, man, I gotta slow my roll and really watch who I'm challenging and shit, because who I'm shooting at, because that doesn't only impact me, it impacts me and all my homies and shit. So that was one thing that I learned. Another thing I learned is, when it's time to go, even in life, if there's challenges in front of you, like, you can't worry about all that noise around. Everybody's saying like, oh, that shit's too rough for you. Oh, that's just too tough for you. Dog, you can't do that shit. You're gonna get fucked up. Don't even try it. Like, fuck all that, dog, for real. Like, I went in there, I said, I caused this problem. It's not like I was a victim, right? It's not like somebody was picking on me. Like, this was something that I did because I was annoyed at something he did, right? So I was just like, fuck all that. Like, this is my issue. I put myself here. Now it's time to fight my way out of this motherfucker, right? And in the end, it was dope, because we got down, right? And it's the way it was supposed to be. It was a one-on-one fight between two cats. Like, all that ramfla shit, all the homie shit, all that shit was thrown out. It was just two cats that had a problem with each other that were able to resolve it. Because, and I'm not under the impression that, like fucking, if my homies weren't there, yeah, they'd probably try to gang up on me. You know what I mean? Because I was, like I said, I was small. So if my homies weren't there, they probably would try to not only throw them ramplas and like, cause throw other cats on us. Like, oh, these skinny little fools think they're crazy. Let's get on them. So me and Diablo would have probably been in a wreck. You know what I mean? We'd have probably had a lot of issues. But I had homies there, right? So that shit wasn't gonna happen. But the same goes for like, people will be like, oh, like your homies bailed you out. But at the same time, if you think about it, this fool's rampla bailed him out too. Because it's like, if he didn't have his rampla and all the boys that backed them, the same thing. And that's the way gangbanging and youngsters are. They're wild like that, where it's like they're gonna use every advantage they have and they're gonna show no mercy. But yeah, I'm glad I grew up from that shit, because like I said, I learned those two things. I learned that the stuff that I do impacts other people. In this day, it's even more important, because no matter what I do, that's gonna impact my family, right? Like, everything I do is gonna have an impact on my family. And the second thing is, I don't worry about any kind of obstacle I'm in, what anyone says about it. Because I know who I am. I know what it is, you know what I mean? And I know, like, fuck it. Worst comes to worst, I'm gonna swing. I'm gonna go out swinging. That's the way it is. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. Let me know if you guys want me to continue these Train Track Thursdays, Throwback Thursdays. We can call it Train Track Thursday. And let me know if you want me to do another one. And we'll continue this shit going until it rains. I'm out. Peace.